welcome back, and 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 welcome back, everyone, to episode 62 of the Sports Coach Podcast. My name is Andrew, and I am back alongside my co-host, Vince. As you just saw before, you saw about a year's worth of clips from the podcast, and of course, we are now on episode 62, and we are back after a couple months off. Vince, of course, this will be his first episode since late August, so we have a ton to go through. So as always, Vince, let's get right into it with the NFL because it's been an interesting season. We got through some of our predictions in early August before the season began, and let me just say, I was very wrong. We started with the NFC East and the AFC East, and unfortunately, I think for both of us, we're left a little disappointed with where our teams are at the moment. What do you think, Vince?
I don't even want to talk about the Dolphins. I mean, what a disaster has been for that team. I don't want to talk about it, Andrew. It's really disappointing.
Yeah, and of course, they had that chance to make it to the playoffs. They had a good couple of games there where they started winning again. And then we saw them play the Packers, and that didn't go to plan either. But I've been talking a lot of Dolphins recently because I've been working with the great people at DolphinsTalk.com doing their pregame shows there. So that's been a lot of fun, and I know way too much about the Dolphins right now. So, if you want to tune in, it's Saturday or Sunday mornings or Monday afternoons, whenever we figure out when we want to do our pregame show. You can tune in there and listen to me and my co-host JJ, and occasionally Vince talk about the Dolphins. For the Giants, well, Vince, I'll let you give your thoughts first, and then I'll do my little rant.
Well, listen, I can't even talk because both of our teams are the worst in the NFL right now. So I'm not gonna hate on the Giants, but
Yeah, I mean, I had the Giants getting second in the division in our
nah.
preview show. Getting that wild card spot, making it to the
No, but hold
playoffs.
on.
Yeah,
You guys had the chance. The Cowboys aren't even that good this year. I just think it's the Commanders that are
yeah.
phenomenal.
And the one guy that I had a lot of faith in, Malik Neighbors. We talked about his draft way back when. And I'll just put this up while I'm talking right now, just against the Cowboys, actually. So, I mean, you can see that he has the talent. He has the ability to be very good. Of course, this is Daniel Jones throwing him the football. Or actually, yeah, Daniel Jones throwing him the football.
Well, we never
So,
know these days with the Giants. Who's throwing the
right,
football?
right. So clearly,
Yeah.
not the best. But now, with the number one draft pick, the New York Giants have the chance to get a capable quarterback who can throw a little better than Daniel Jones to Malik Neighbors. So you can see there.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Who would you prefer at quarterback, Cam Ward or Shador Sanders?
All right, listen. So we saw. I don't know who saw, but last night, of course, all the Heisman candidates were in New York, to do like their media days and stuff like that. Because of course, the Heisman will come out tonight as of when we're filming, and we saw Malik Neighbors and Shador Sanders playing catch, just in the streets of New York.
That's what I'm talking about.
And there you go. And of course, Malik Neighbors had a very good start to the season. He did end up going into concussion protocol, which was rough after he dropped the ball. That could have potentially won us a game way back when in week 4 or 5 or something like that. So I think that Shador Sanders already has more of a connection with the current New York Giants team. However, Cam Ward, I just like his play style a lot more, and I think that he will fit better with the Giants, regardless of the prior like talks he's had with players like Malik Neighbors and Shador Sanders. I'd rather get Cam Ward, but I think with the number one draft pick, I don't think
Anything
Cam
can
Ward.
happen.
I also don't think Cam Ward deserves to go that early. Shador should probably be going before him. Just in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's also a matter of fact of, I wouldn't say you want to like fame or
Yeah, exactly.
spotlight because obviously
Yeah.
Shador is going to be in the spotlight. His father is prime time, so obviously I feel like he's going to get a lot more significance, and obviously his teammate is in the run for the Heisman right now, and I think without Travis Hunter or without either one of them, they wouldn't be in a bowl game right now. So I think Shedeur Sanders is obviously a hell of a phenomenal player. But you look at Cam Ward, and you look at where he took that Hurricanes team. And listen, I said at the beginning of the year that they were going to be good. I knew he was going to be a Heisman candidate by the end of the year. I called it, and I was 100% correct. I stuck with that until the end of the season. Obviously, I wasn't able to really talk about it because I hadn't been on. But, man, I had said it since summer at SBC. I had said it that he was going to be a Heisman candidate regardless if they made the playoff or not. And, look, I was right. But I want to talk about the Hurricanes really quick. I know we're talking about the NFL, but, Andrew, talk about those Hurricanes. I know you've been involved with Miami football, but have you really taken a really good look at the Hurricanes right now? It's disappointing.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
I really thought we were back to the glory days. It sucks. As a part-time Miami fan, Gators for life, but as a part-time Canes fan, that was brutal to watch that Syracuse game. And I like Syracuse too, because why not? But
and listen, the ACC is struggling to say the least. You have SMU and Clemson as your two.
Well, they shouldn't have had a spot in the playoff. Miami's 100 times better than them. Miami's the best offense in college football, without a doubt. They are better than SMU. I'd say so, but they're 100 times better than Clemson.
Yeah, it's just those.
It's just playing Texas. Oh, Texas! That's a walk in the park for Texas.
Yeah,
they didn't even do anything. Oh,
and it's just those couple of losses, which is what put Miami behind Georgia Tech, of course, who had an amazing season as well. I don't want to discount what Georgia Tech did this year. Of course, started out against Florida State, which I guess we could talk about. We could move into college football, but we talked about our teams for the NFL. Florida State. I guess we know that the choice to not put them in the football playoffs last year was the correct decision, because if you look at the state,
I had said that, Andrew. I had said that because it's like, why would you want to put an injured quarterback? Why would you want to put a second-string quarterback to lead a? Well, I'll tell you this: that was a great Florida State football team. As much as I am a Florida fan, Miami fan, that Florida State team was good, honestly.
Yeah,
and the
definitely.
fact that they lost a lot of pieces
Yeah,
to the draft, and the fact that I knew they weren't going to be as good, but you never knew. The fact that they were top 10 going into the year in the AP poll, I don't know who's in charge of the committee, but they should have known that losing. I remember there was one episode we had it was me, you, and Jack. I think it was actually the first episode I had when I had got my buzz cut. It was episode 30. It was episode 30. We were talking about draft previews and like combine and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about like mainly that Florida State team. We were talking about all those players that were going into the draft. There were so many Florida State players leaving, and they were all getting drafted. That's all we talked about that for that episode. I remember for that segment, we talked about almost every single Florida State player. It wasn't any other school. We were talking about Florida State specifically. There were so many pros that I don't understand what came to mind, why they would even want to be in a top 10. Why put them in the top 10 AP poll when they lost almost everyone? They weren't going to be as good, but again, that's the committee's fault. They obviously found out. Mike Norvell. I don't really know what to go. I don't know where to go from now with him. But
yeah. I mean, it's definitely it was still a surprise to me. Listen, I knew that they weren't going to be the team they were last year, that famed undefeated team. They were going to maybe make the playoffs, and then
No, and you want to know something though? I thought they were going to be decent. It's crazy to say that. I know I had just said right now that they weren't going to be as good, but bro, DJ Ugliagle, I mean, he did not step up. I think that's one of the main reasons why that Florida State team wasn't good, because of him.
Yeah, and I also think that the first Georgia Tech game in Ireland, I thought that wasn't a Florida State issue. I thought Georgia Tech was going to be I thought Georgia Tech was going to be what Boise State ended up becoming. Of course, then Georgia Tech lost some pretty important games. They still had good wins against good teams. They kept games close with good teams.
And if Florida State would have been still ranked, then we would have seen Georgia Tech a lot higher in the polls and all that.
Well, yeah, of course.
That's just it's an unfortunate way to go with Georgia Tech, but man, I thought they had they beat Miami. That's a good win on your resume, and just fell apart.
Let us talk some Florida football, because if you remember, when I was sitting in your grandparents' living room this summer, we talked about the schedule. Actually, we talked a lot. I made fun of you a lot for the schedule over last season. Because we know that you would end up finishing against Florida State, Ole Miss, Texas, LSU, and Georgia. You would also play Tennessee, and Texas A&M, and Miami. Yet, you guys are 7-5. You finished the season with a winning record.
And we're going on to a bowl game. Yeah. We're going on to a bowl game, and I'll tell you something right now. Our bowl game is no different than a Miami Pop-Tart Bowl. So, if Miami fans want to come out and say, "Oh, well, we're in a better bowl," no, those bowls don't matter. I mean, obviously, you get recognition of being in a bowl game, but what does that do for the program?
Yeah,
that's going to be on our resume.
It's crazy with
we're on the same level as Miami, and they're 11-2. It doesn't even matter.
It's crazy with a 12-team playoffs that not a single Florida team makes it.
Yeah,
with how they were ranked earlier this year.
Yeah, I kind of just want to go back to Florida for a second. I was actually at that Miami game. I remember that very vividly. Graham Mertz goes down with an injury. I'm gonna be honest. I always thought he was the issue. I always knew DJ Logway was better, and he came out to play this year. I think he's gonna have a good career. I'm happy he decided to stay here at Florida. I'm just curious how the rest of his career goes at Florida. I think he's obviously gonna stay. We've gotten a lot of recruits flipped, including from Florida State. But yeah, with the schedule we had this year and the fact that we won good games, surprises me.
Yeah.
I thought we should have been Texas A&M. I thought we should have been Tennessee. Well, I only say that because almost the last couple years we've always beaten Tennessee. That's a little biased.
But the main thing you have to talk about is Florida State, Ole Miss, LSU.
And LSU. Yeah.
To end the season.
That
ends Ole Miss's season.
Yeah.
That ends Ole Miss's season, and we talked before the season about Old Miss with Dalen. You weren't on that episode, but we talked about that. Yeah. And then they also had their other losses, which hurt them as well. Of course, they ended up losing 3 times, which is not great. So, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
Talk about Ole Miss, though. Lane Kiffin, I don't know. I was on social media ever since I departed ways in August, but I've been on social media. There was this one video at the beginning of the year where Lane Kiffin was doing, I think, a get ready with me. I don't know what they call it. Get ready with me with his daughter. And she was talking about, I want to go to New York during Christmas break. Well, guess what? You're going to New York Christmas break. Because Florida took you out of that playoff. Lane Kiffin was like, "Oh no, we're going to go to the playoffs in December." No, you're not. Florida knocked you out. So,
and what's better yet, it's the Gator Bowl, so it's actually back in Florida. So, that's some fun stuff. Rest of the SEC, we knew Texas, they were gonna join and cause chaos. Their top team, Georgia, despite losing 2 games like Texas did, they'll still keep their spot, regain what they lost last year. Tennessee, same for them. Guess who's next?
hold on, Andrew. Can we talk about one? This is one player who stood out to me the most when it comes to the freshman talk. Ryan Williams, man. Woo! Phenomenal. Andrew, I glazed him a little bit. I thought he was a phenomenal player. I remember, I think it was late September when they were playing Georgia. What a game. What a game. I mean, Ryan Williams is the future, but the only issue with that is he wants to leave.
Yeah.
So I don't know how Bama's gonna handle that. I didn't think DeBoer did a horrible job this year though.
No, he did. No, he didn't. I mean,
Bama proved that they were still a good team without Saban. But yeah, I mean,
they didn't accomplish what they wanted to accomplish. I mean,
well, I mean, you're kind of just in the same spot. You're in the same spot as where you were a year ago.
Those are embarrassing losses. Embarrassing losses.
I mean, let's talk about Bama for like just a second.
Not scoring a single touchdown against Oklahoma. That's embarrassing. But 2 weeks before, you're beating LSU, who like had a pretty good season. They beat Ole Miss. They won those games. Closer than it should have been game with Auburn for the second year in a row. We know what happened with Vanderbilt.
And hold on. Yeah, Vanderbilt.
And then Tennessee. The Oklahoma one is unacceptable though. That's awful.
I'm gonna tell you something right now, and this is just based off of like an opinion I have, but I think South Carolina is one of those teams that
they got robbed. They got robbed. South
Carolina should have been in the playoff. I don't care about Miami at this point. I don't care about Ole Miss. I don't care about any of these schools. South Carolina proved that they could come out and
terrible.
play.
It's terrible.
And I still think the game of the year was that game against LSU. Wow. I was enjoying watching that game. I thought that was a phenomenal game against LSU. Obviously, LSU won, which still surprises me because LSU is not even ranked right now.
And also, they also played within 3 against Bama as well.
I think it's just their lack of putting a game to an end with South Carolina. But yeah, I mean,
because they lost 2 games by 3 or less against like top SEC schools. That's awful. And then SMU, of course, getting in over Alabama and South Carolina or Ole Miss or whoever.
I don't think SMU should have gotten in.
No, it's bad. It's bad. I don't like it. And not just because I'm a salty Alabama fan. It doesn't make sense.
No, even as a part-time Miami fan, and Bama, I think Bama, Ole Miss, and Miami are 3 better programs than SMU will be. I bet you SMU is going into a whiteout. They're not going to win. They're not going to win.
No,
going into Penn State, into the Valley. It's going to be all white. It's going to be I don't know if it's going to be snowing, but
that'd be cool.
Everything's going to be white, cold, freezing. SMU is going to struggle under that pressure. I'm telling you, Penn State's going to bring it, and they're going to lose first round.
Yeah. All right, last one to talk about, Big Ten. I think coming into the season, I knew Oregon was going to join, and
dominate.
Yeah, dominate.
Hey, Penn State put up a fight. I kind of want to talk about Michigan really quick.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Man.
And I actually want to say something. You said last time Dylan was on that you thought that Rutgers football was going to be a dark horse for the 12-team playoffs. I want to note that they actually finished with the same record as Michigan.
Okay, well, and it wasn't the pleasure of Dylan. I actually thought Rutgers football was going to be a good team. If you can remind me the running back's name. Kyle Mononga, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I think he was it's kind of like how Ashton Genty carried Boise State. I think that's the same thing that Kyle Mononga could have done for Rutgers, but Rutgers is Rutgers. Can't really. It's a little iffy with them always. Can't really say. things are gonna happen with them.
Michigan though. What do you think?
I think everyone knew they were gonna be as good, but can we talk about Bryce Underwood? The NIL,
Terrible.
the NIL coming
Listen.
into play.
So, NIL, it's name, image, likeness. What that did, that got us college football, and they paid them $750 or however much it was in a copy of the game. That was because their likeness was in the game. We're getting ads with players in it. Name, image, likeness. They're allowed to sell their name to be used in ads and get paid for it. I don't think name, image, and likeness counts as what team you play for. Why are we paying millions of dollars? There's no recruiting anymore. What team can give you the most money? And now clearly Michigan, with their billions of dollars to spend from all of their famous their famous alumni, like, it's professional sports now. It actually is professional sports.
100% agree. I mean, it's not the way college football should go.
Yeah. And one
It's
other thing,
disappointing.
I'm looking at the Heisman finalist picture from last night. Everyone else is wearing like super expensive jackets and watches and things
Besides
like that.
Ashton
And then
Jeanty.
Ashton Jeanty pulls up wearing his Boise State
Boise
tracksuit
State,
and like,
I saw that too. I had realized that. I was like, what's he doing? But I mean, yeah,
sucks. That it's terrible. And it's the definition of professional sports is getting paid to play sports. There's a difference between getting paid because you're good at the sport and you want to be in a commercial. That's different. That's not signing contracts saying I'm going to play here for 1 year. You owe me $5 million. It's not good. And now some players may be getting more money. Like Underwood's going to be getting more money than some NFL quarterbacks, like Brock Purdy, who's on his minimum deal still or whatever.
Well, speaking about Brock Purdy, and I'm sorry to change the topic back to NFL for a second, but can we talk about the 49ers really quick?
CMC.
I mean,
rest in peace to anyone with the first overall pick.
Glory to trenches in a second. Because how do you go from being, I'd say, one of the main Super Bowl contenders to tragedy in not even it's not even a full season yet.
Yeah.
But it's just it's Thanksgiving and then winter. It's what is it, December now? I mean, it's just horrendous. And I want to know something. The 49ers are not planning on stepping back from Brock Purdy, and they're going to try their best to give him a long-term deal during the offseason. How do you feel about that? Because I don't think he's the guy anymore for the 49ers. I think it has to be said. I think ever since that arm injury, hasn't really been the same player. Thursday Night Football was. I don't even want to talk about Thursday Night Football. I should have. No, I can't.
I think, yeah, he's not the answer. Brock Purdy doesn't. Him and like Debo don't make sense. Like
Debo's out here talking about, I need receptions. It's not that I'm bad. It's just I need receptions. Well,
the other
then
thing is
he's coordinate or get out of there because he's like, wasting his career with the 49ers. That's the
other thing is like another thing that people like about Brock Purdy is he's mobile. He moves around. That's what you use CMC for. Get someone who could throw bombs downfield to Deebo Samuel and George Kittle.
Yeah.
So that's my take. I don't know. I think Brock Purdy, he's good. He could be a better quarterback elsewhere. He's going to be cheap. Listen, if the 49ers can get a good cheap deal and he still remembers that he was in fact Mr. Irrelevant as of 2 years ago, if they could get him cheap, fine. Do it. I don't care. They were fine with him for the first couple years. There were a lot of injuries this year, whatever. If he's going to be asking for more money than even like 20% of all the other quarterbacks in the league, he can walk. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
It's not worth paying him, but they said they want to. I don't think the 49ers are smart with that, but yeah, I mean, that's It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Let's talk about MVP real quick, though, for back to NFL. And then we'll talk about Heisman kind of in tandem. So, of course, Josh Allen, he had one of the best fantasy performances of all time last week. He's been insane. Rushing game on point as always. And even with basically no real wide receiving threats going into the season, he has led this Buffalo team to a division win. Lamar Jackson, he had an amazing team. Underwhelming though. He was supposed to be way better than Josh Allen. Underwhelming season. Zay Flowers cannot catch footballs for the life of him. Losing that Chiefs game early in the year, that's awful. And going into OT against the Bengals, not great either.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, he's leading the league in passing yards, passing touchdowns. The team is leading in receiving touchdowns. They've been very good as well. Anyone else I'm missing?
I want to mention an underdog pick, an underrated pick for the MVP race, Jaden Daniels. I know it sounds a little crazy, but he's really changed his team around. And I really do think that this can be one of those things where, yeah, he's a rookie, but we're looking at a Commanders team that's been bad for years now. I'm talking RG3.
But he lost important games. He lost to the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Steelers 3 weeks in a row.
Never mind. He lost to the Cowboys.
Close game, and less than one touchdown against the Giants. 3 points against the Bears. Lost to the Ravens. Yeah. Fine, he had his moments. He had the Hail Mary. Besides that, he did something special. I don't think he deserves to be honored with a MVP because of that, because Josh Allen just turned a team that literally may have been worse than the Commanders into one of the best teams in football.
Yeah.
So.
I'm going to say something, and I apologize to every person that watches this. I'm sorry for hating on the Bills in the beginning of the year. I didn't think they were going to be as good. I thought the Dolphins were going to be better. I said that they were going to win a Super Bowl. I was wrong.
Yeah.
The Bills came out to play, and I think they deserve 100% of the credit they've gotten so far. And I think that's a team that we need to watch out for. They're definitely going to make it to the Super Bowl. At least they're a contender for right now. But yeah, I think Josh Allen is a no-brainer for the MVP race right now.
What do you think about Steelers?
Honestly, has Justin Fields taken a snap at kick returner?
Because
I'll talk about kick returner.
Oh, kick return? No, he never did.
I remember we talked about that for the
yeah. That was our fast fact. Yeah. He hasn't yet, which is disappointing because that would have been fun.
I think I saw something that like Russell Wilson was going to start next year. So again, another year for Justin Fields to just sit back and watch. I think
he's going to want out soon. Yeah. I don't think it's going to. Honestly, having him as a backup behind Caleb Williams would have been cooler.
Both mobile, both could run.
Yeah.
I think Justin Fields should just transition to running back. It's not even a bad idea.
Oh boy.
I just don't.
Make some cool trick plays with that though.
Oh yeah,
But they also just don't need a running back because Najee Harris is. He's been doing.
Najee Harris isn't good. Come on, it's not the Bama the Bama Glaze. It's the Bama Glaze.
Sure, if that's what that was. Okay, that's NFL and yep.
Hold on. We got one more. So I don't know if you heard, the Jets plan to draft a quarterback in the first round regarding Aaron Rodgers is on the roster. And this comes after being eliminated by my Miami Dolphins for playoff contention. How do you feel about that? And when it comes to the quarterback race for teams right now, who should the Jets go after?
It's gonna be Jalen Milroe. Where their draft position is, it is gonna be Jalen Milroe. I think that he does not fit with the Jets, though. I think that drafting a QB is stupid because, I don't
Hey,
think that's going to fix your team.
hold on. I think Cam Ward might be the way to go here. Hear me out.
He's going to get taken before. There's no way.
But I know what I'm saying. I know. But what I'm saying is, like, I think it's a good fit. He says that his play style is like Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. So, think about it. He plays with one of his mentors.
Self-proclaimed.
With one of his people, his idols. It makes sense. He's going to learn to even be better. So, all I'm saying is MVP in the future.
Why is it still in the you couldn't take it out of the...
Oh, was I supposed to?
I mean, mine's out of the box.
This is dusty.
Yeah. Anyway. What else? All right, yeah, I think NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you've missed...
we gotta finish. We gotta finish.
Heisman. My bad. All right.
Hold on, we got one more though. Belichick.
Oh,
Chapel Hill. Come on.
It makes sense if you think about it.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't back up Nick Saban's argument with the way that college football is changing. I think Bill Belichick's gonna fit right in.
He wasn't gonna coach. He wasn't gonna coach the Jets. He was done with the NFL. Makes sense.
Yeah. And he was, and I think it was. Well, we obviously know what Nick Saban had to say about NIL and the transfer portal and how everything's changing. Also, people had to say that Bill Belichick's not going to transition well into it. I think he's going to work phenomenal. I think people are going to actually want to come to Chapel Hill, want to be a part of that North Carolina football team, and I think we will see a decent team. Bill Belichick, I get it, he's old, but don't doubt him. He is considered one of the best coaches in football history. Coached the greatest quarterback in football history. Coached one of the best tight ends in football history. So, in my opinion, I think he can change a college football program better than Mack Brown ever could. And also, I think it was time for him. I think it was time for Mack Brown to leave. I think Bill Belichick's going to come fit right in and lead this North Carolina team to ACC glory.
The other thing is, I'm seeing hate. Bill Belichick only won all the Super Bowls because he had Tom Brady and Gronk and Edelman and whatever.
He needs his credit. You
still have to be a good coach to coach those guys.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. At the end of the day, he's the one who brought them together and made them into the trio that they were. So
yeah,
there you go. While I introduce some of the Heisman stuff, we can watch this guy do his thing. Ashton Jeanty on screen right now. It just had one of the best running back seasons in college football history with Boise State. Of all teams, with Boise State. And we saw this all year. We saw this graphic come up on Fox, CBS all year long because Ashton Jeanty is going to be the Heisman winner.
Oh, without a doubt, Andrew. But I think we need to give credit where credit is due and understand that Cam Ward and Travis Hunter deserve the spotlight. But I kind of want to point something out before we continue with, the Ashton Jeanty rant and argument and why he should win. Obviously the other awards for the college football season has been out. And obviously Travis Hunter won the Offensive Player and Defensive Player of the Year, which I think they gave it to him because they know that he's not going to win the Heisman.
He's not. It's just not. Yeah.
He's not going to win. As much as I think he deserves it, and I really do. I don't think Ashton Jeanty should win it. I think Travis Hunter deserves it because he plays both ways, and he's top. Well, according to these awards, he's top one at both positions, both sides of the ball. It's fascinating that he's not going to win the Heisman, and if he does, good for him, and we will see him as a top 2 pick in next year's draft.
The other thing is, he said that he would play both positions when he gets drafted to the NFL.
That they're not going to let him do that.
It's not.
They're not going to let him do that. No.
Yeah. No.
He's gonna have to choose one, and I'm telling you right now, he's a better defender than he is on offense. He's a phenomenal receiver, but man, have you taken a look at his defensive tape? He's a demon on the opposite side of the ball. So I think Genty's gonna win, but I think Travis Hunter deserves it, and that's what everyone's saying on social media right now. I agree with everyone, and everyone agrees with what I have to say. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah, Ashton Genty, like the Heisman, although fine, you can look at some stats and stuff and figure out the Heisman that way. Ashton Genty transformed a Mountain West school
into a college football
playoff school.
Playoff contender, yeah. So that's why he's gonna win it though, because the fact that you can lead a team from the Mountain West to glory into the playoff for the first time, that's unthinkable. And that's something Cam Ward should have done, but they sold their chances. Miami sold their chances, and that's losses that really screwed them over. I think that Boise State had that win against Oregon. But besides that, they're a good football team, regardless if Ashton Genty was playing with them. Like, exactly. Obviously, he's the reason why they're at where they're at right now, but this Boise State team is good still, regardless, without Ashton Genty, and I think that we're going to see a good team going into the playoff. Look, they get a bye. So I think it's going to be fun to watch, but I really do think Ashton Genty's going to win the Heisman. We're going to see that tonight. We're going to see him carrying that trophy with whatever he shows up wearing. Doesn't matter. I found that crazy. He showed up in his own gear, his team gear.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's great. He's, again, I'll say again, best running back season, or one of the best in college football history. Yeah. Ashton Genty will be the Heisman winner, and if he's not, that's terrible.
Yeah. Now, speaking about the playoff, I really want to take a look at this for. We don't even have to talk about this for a long time. I just want to talk about it for a little bit. What are teams that you think will make it out of each side of the bracket?
Well, just give me 1 second, and I'll let you give your take first.
All right, so I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna say that on the left side of the bracket, where there's teams like Ohio State, Oregon, Clemson, and Texas, and Tennessee, I'm not even going to mention Arizona State because they don't deserve credit, I guess you can say. They don't deserve to be in the playoff. I don't care what people have to say. I don't like Arizona State. They shouldn't be in the playoff, but hey, whatever. That's the committee. That's their choice. I think that Texas or Oregon is going to make it out of this alive. I think they will be playing each other. But I do think that Texas is going to get revenge on a Pac-12 team. Not anymore, but still. Get revenge on a Pac-12 team and make it to the college football playoff on the... What is the deal? Never eat soggy waffles. On the west side of the bracket. On the east side of the bracket, we got Georgia, Penn State, Notre Dame. You know what, Andrew? I don't think we need to really talk about this. I think this is pretty obvious. And give me the Nittany Lions to make it out of the east side of the bracket. All right? Texas versus Penn State in the college football 12-team playoff finals. Give me some.
I don't like that. I think Tennessee beats Ohio State. I think Oregon wipes the floor with Tennessee. And then I think Oregon... I'm going to leave Oregon versus Texas, but that's who I think is going to be on the left side. I think that's going to be the semifinals there. And then I don't know what to do about the Boise State Penn. Where did he go? I don't know what to do about the
Penn State. Okay.
I don't know what to do about the Penn State Boise State game because, listen, I like both teams. It would be cool to see Boise win, but I think Penn State's a better team. And then I think Notre Dame is going to upset Georgia. And so the right side of the bracket is going to feature Notre Dame versus Penn State, I guess. Yeah. We'll go with
I
that.
just don't think Georgia is gonna do really much against Penn State if they play Penn State. But
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
Penn State making to the playoff. I have them winning.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just my opinion. I know people will be happy with that, especially people that live up north. But yeah, I don't like Georgia much this year. And Texas is obviously they come out to play, but they're iffy. And so the fact that I have them beating Oregon, it just doesn't make any sense. But I like having crazy picks. You know me. So.
Let's talk some NBA. So, of course, Vince has also missed the entire NBA season.
Yeah. So.
And we are nearing the NBA Cup Finals as well. But first, of course, we need to talk about the elephant in the room that Vince missed. This happening for the first time. Bronny did drop 30 in Keynote, the G League, the other night.
Okay.
And this first sub didn't really go that well. We don't need to watch the entire thing. Not very, very disappointing. Very disappointing. So, if you have been keeping up with the NBA at all, what do you think, Vince? What are your main storylines coming back to it now?
Part of me, it's hard to talk about the NBA when my team doesn't know how to play basketball. And before I go on and talk about storylines, I want to talk about the real elephant in the room. Jimmy Butler. And the fact that he has trade talks.
Oh my God, is that the tissue?
Yeah, that's the tissue. That's the iconic tissue. But whoever made up Jimmy Butler's gonna get traded. No, he's not. He will stay loyal to this fan base. He loves it here in Miami, and I can tell. I mean, it drives me crazy. So I don't know if it's Shams. I don't know who did it, but whoever did that and said that there was trade talks, I had to listen to that all week, and I'm telling you, Andrew, I was mad. I did not want to see that. I love Jimmy Butler. Like I wiped my hand into a plastic bag because of how much I love him. So the fact that he got trade talks really is not the way, we like to go. I have better luck though. My favorite players aren't getting traded from my favorite teams like you. We're not traded, leaving.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think I'm having a bit of a worse time because I'm wearing a Cam Thomas jersey, and we know what the trade talks going on with him. And Cam Johnson and Dennis Schroeder and anyone else.
The entire team.
We're in a playoff spot.
Okay.
Chill. We're in a playoff spot. That's better than I thought. Okay? I'll take it. And we also have 3 picks still next year, so I don't even care if we get a bad pick. We'll be fine.
The future.
LeBon, what do we think about him? Of course, you love him as well.
Well, yeah, man. I think it's self-explanatory. I'm too lazy to go get my plushie, but last time I was on the podcast, I think I brought it on when that was a while ago. We were on with Janella.
Yeah.
I think that's my last episode. So yeah, I had brought too lazy to go get the plushie right now of LeBron, but yeah, I love LeBron. I think he's a phenomenal basketball player, but he's gonna hang it up soon. I think we can all agree. He's obviously hurt right now. He's not gonna win any awards because we know with the policy with being out for so long. But yeah, I mean, the Lakers. I'm telling you, Anthony Davis is the only reason that team is somewhat where they are right now.
And Dalton Connect has been insane.
Talk about Dalton Connect. I think he's the best rookie besides Jared McCain.
Definitely.
Getting flashbacks. To Zach Edey right here. I'm getting flashbacks to Zach Edey. Jesus Christ.
And for those who don't remember, he made a bet that Zach Edey would not get drafted at all in this year's NBA draft, and then he made another bet that he wouldn't get drafted top 10. And guess what happened? What was it, 8th or
9.
9th pick?
9.
9?
I think it
Pick
was 8 or
9
9. I don't
to the
know. I
Memphis
forgot, but
Grizzlies. Zach
yeah.
Edey got drafted.
Well,
He's averaging 11 points a game. He's doing his thing, 7 rebounds. And Vince got pied because of that. So, fun stuff. Very fun stuff.
I'll go in the water next year. Don't worry. You don't gotta worry about that. Next year.
Anything else in the NBA?
Well, obviously Joel Embiid suffered a sinus fracture. As of recording Friday night. I think he's just injury prone. Like I knew I had told people that he was gonna get hurt again, and they didn't agree with me. They thought, oh yeah, he's gonna ball out. As of recording this Friday, people thought he was gonna go crazy. No, I was right. He didn't play good. He got hurt on top of it, and so yeah, I think the Sixers are just in a lot of trouble. Paul George obviously comes and talk about that. I mean,
yeah,
I think the only reason that team is where they're at right now is because of Jared McCain. Right. And I think it's because of the young, like he, thank God that they got a young star that's passionate and loves the game of basketball. Because without that, I don't think this team gonna get talked about enough. So yeah, they're getting recognition. I think Jared McCain's the only reason why they're somewhat relevant at the moment. But yeah. So.
Yeah. I think
it's just a lot. It's just a lot of injuries. It's just a lot of injuries too. So
no, I agree. The East has been atrocious. The Knicks. And we didn't even talk about this. We know, obviously, Mikal Bridges got traded, blah, 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 blah. And then they just immediately get rid of the Villanova core four and get So that's funny. And the Knicks haven't even been as that good. They've been okay, and like the rest of the East has. So, And I say let's not talk about college basketball today. And I'd rather do more of a rundown with that. And next weekend I am heading to Princeton Rutgers.
Let's go.
At the Prudential Center. So that's going to be a very fun game. But you know what it's time to talk about? The MLB offseason.
Your favorite, man. This is obviously your favorite.
I'm just going to reminisce real quick. This is one of the peak moments of my life. And now I can never remember this moment the same. Because if you didn't know, Juan Soto has signed an $800 million plus deal to join the New York Mets.
I didn't know $5 million was really a difference.
He chose
$5 million for a team.
No,
according to him, he said the Mets were a good organization. I don't know on what planet he's on. I don't know where his head is right now. But the Mets are not a good, well-run organization, and everyone can agree with that statement. Regardless if they made it, far in the playoffs this past year, they're just not capable of being highly recognized.
It's not just $5 million, right?
Wait,
it's also a $75 million signing bonus, an extra $4 million a year past 2029, luxury suite for every single game, 4 premium seats to every home and away game, private security for him and his family. What else? I mean, the list can keep going. And the number 22. Because, of course.
Number 22.
Brett Beatty had that. Wow. Sure, that took a lot of convincing. Yeah, it sucks. But also now, the Mets have him until he's 39. Is Juan Soto going to be batting 300 when he's 39? And now, let me tell you this. I'm acting all depressed about losing him because of the memories of the last year. The Yankees are better off without him. whatever just happened in the last week lit a fire in Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman's bellies because they are going off right now. It's insane. They now have $760 million to spend on whatever they want. So far, they've spent $218 million, making Max Fried the highest paid left-hander in baseball history. He is not even going to be our ace, yet he is one of the best pitchers in baseball, the lowest ERA in baseball since 2020 with at least 500 innings pitched, and he's still going to be starting behind Garrett Cole. And then yesterday, you make one of the best trades of the offseason. Devin Williams, one of the best closers in baseball. We already have Luke Weaver. But guess what? We get Devin Williams as well, and we get rid of Nestor Cortez Jr., who was severely underperforming last year. I'm so happy.
And that's why I said you guys won the trade yesterday when we were talking, Andrew. I don't know, but you said I kind of want to bring something up. I don't know if I can remember, but you had said that they didn't win the trade.
And this is why. And I realize now, after the Tucker trade happened later in the day, I realize now we won the trade. Because you have...
Oh, okay. All right.
Caleb Durbin, for those who don't know, is the other guy who got traded to the Milwaukee Brewers. Caleb Durbin was supposed to be our second baseman. Everyone's comparing him to Jose Altuve. He's like 5'6" or something like that. He, in his fall league this year, and shout out to our friend Mike, who was on back in July. He actually got to call all the fall league games this year, which is really cool for him. So congrats. But back to the fall league. Caleb Durbin, in 30 games in the Arizona Fall League, stole 35 bases, batted .340, and had something like 12 home runs. And guess what the Yankees don't have right now? A second baseman. Because we're letting Gleyber Torres walk. I wanted Caleb Durbin, and I watched Caleb Durbin a lot. You know, we went to Somerset Patriots games together last year, Vince. Caleb Durbin was that second baseman.
Yeah.
He was ready. He got up to AAA by the end of the year. He was fully healed from his injury. He was ready to show up to spring training this year, rake, and become the starting second baseman for the New York Yankees. He's gone. So now that means we're missing a first baseman. We're now missing a second baseman. And then you have Jazz just kind of hanging out at third. And he's not even a third baseman. And we're missing an outfielder. Right?
But I do think...
And instead, we're getting closers from the Milwaukee Brewers.
But understand that you're... Yeah. I thought the pitching issues for the Yankees was always the issue. I always thought the pitching was an issue.
Let me finish real quick.
I think getting Devin Williams is phenomenal.
The reason I'm now more excited about it is because Kyle Tucker got traded to the Cubs, and part of the deal from the Cubs was sending Isaac Paredes, a third baseman, to the Houston Astros. Last year, Alex Bregman, and the past many years, Alex Bregman has been the third baseman for the Houston Astros, and currently, Alex Bregman is a free agent, and apparently, the Astros have already made their offer to him. So the fact that the Astros just traded for a third baseman while Alex Bregman is still a free agent means that Alex Bregman will not be returning to the Houston Astros, meaning the New York Yankees, the team that was mostly rumored to be a potential Alex Bregman suitor, is probably now the favorite to land him. That means you can have Alex Bregman at third base, you can have Anthony Volpe at shortstop, you can have Jazz Chisholm at second base, and then Cody Bellinger when we make that trade happen at first base. There you go. This is going to be the best Yankees offseason.
Hold on. What happened to Ben Rice?
He ended up batting like 130 at the end of the season.
Come on.
But still, I am actually like overjoyed because I think that if we can, this is the perfect Yankees offseason. We get Max Fried, we get Devin Williams, we get Alex Bregman, and then we trade for Cody Bellinger. That's it. We're done. Perfect offseason.
Yeah.
And that's better than Juan Soto. Getting those players is better than Juan Soto. Landing Alex Bregman, who's one of the most underrated players in baseball, is better than getting Juan Soto. I'm happy. And of course, I'm never going to forget this moment watching him get to round the bases to send us to the World Series for the first time in my life that I can really remember it. And I'm not going to forgive him for leaving us after that.
And especially
but Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner. Hal is acting like his father. He's doing what his father would have done, and we are spending money and we're making moves. So, all applause to both of them. It's been wonderful.
There we go. There we go.
Clap it up.
Yep.
Yeah, so I've been beyond overjoyed. Your thoughts on the offseason, Vince?
Oh, God. I mean, I think there's just a lot going on, and the fact that there's a lot of moves going on when I come back to the podcast. There's a lot of moves going on. I think coming around this time was the perfect time because, you have to talk about Juan Soto leaving, and that's obviously a big move. But I think the Yankees are really, 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 really going to go out and get some pieces. I thought the Devin Williams trade really kind of capped it off. I know there's more. There's more to come, and there needs to be more to come for this Yankees team. If they want to be back in the same position they were, maybe not losing this time, but somewhat winning, they need to get up.
Yeah.
And they need to go out and get the players that the fans and everyone's been wanting all these years. I think they need to resolve their issues at first base, regardless if Ben Rice is a starting first baseman by the beginning of the year. But yeah, no, Cody Bellinger. And I don't know about you, but I'd say Cody Bellinger is a better move to pick up than Bregman, in my opinion. And I do think both of them are not the same players they were in 2017 when the cheating scandal was going on. And I don't think me personally, Andrew, as a Yankees fan, I don't want Alex Bregman on the team. As much as you may think he's good, that man is still a part of one of the worst things in baseball history. Cheating. And I don't know how you would forgive him to come to the team like that.
Oh,
that's worse. That's worse.
I totally do.
That's worse than Juan Soto leaving. So, in my opinion,
because I think it's just more of I'm thinking of it more as just a kick in the face to Houston Astros fans than that, oh, hey, Alex Bregman's Yankee now. Because I think that would just be funny.
Yeah.
And if not, Pete Alonso's a free agent. I don't want him. But that's another backup if Christian Walker doesn't work out, because who we haven't even talked about yet. But let's just go through. That's the Yankees. Let's just talk about some other things. The Angels are secretly might be good. They've signed Kyle Hendricks. They've gotten Jorge Soler. They've gotten Travis d'Arnaud. They've gotten Kevin Newman. They got UC Kikuchi. They got, I don't really know what they're doing, but they're doing something. And I think it might actually work out for them next year, which would be kind of cool to see.
Yep.
What else happened? Oh, Red Sox. That's an interesting one. Because the Red Sox, of course, traded for Garrett Crochet. They lost out on Juan Soto. They lost out on Max Fried. They've lost out on some other guys so far. They also signed Aroldis Chapman, but they get Garrett Crochet, obviously, is the biggest one.
Yep.
I don't know what the Red Sox are trying to do. Because of course they had that terrible game last year. But yeah. So you know what? We're gonna try to reach out to our friend Julian, who was on earlier in August. He was actually at winter meetings this year. And we're gonna try to have more of an in-depth conversation with him in the coming weeks about the offseason. But let us head to the fast fact for the first time in a couple months for episode 62, Formula One. The Formula One season just rounded out last week at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. And, of course, McLaren, for the first time in 2 decades, walks away with the Constructors' Championship. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri had a great year. And, of course, Max Verstappen walks away with his 4th straight World Drivers' Championship to round out the season. And we're bringing back how we used to talk about some sports that didn't get talked about as much for the fast fact. So I do hope you enjoy that. And I hope that everyone out there enjoyed listening to episode 62 of the Sports Coverage Podcast. My name is Andrew, alongside my co-host Vince. If you guys could like and subscribe down below. And of course, we have exclusive clips and announcement posts over on the Instagram. We are back for winter break. I hope everyone has a great start to the holiday season. Thank you, Vince, for coming back and joining us again. And we'll see you next week.